So today, after dealing with 15 Delta 3 errors and after opening 50 or 70 named caches on inside the base of operations so I can get the Kingbreaker, I had finally the honor to try that beast out. And let me tell you, it is gonna be one of the best ARs if they don't change it. In phase 2, for those of you who don't know, Kingbreaker pretty much is the new named assault rifle, which has the Perfect Flatline talent on it, which pretty much means that you are doing 20% increased damage to pulsed targets. Now you can combine that with a technician laser if you want to, and instantly every enemy that you aim at is getting pulsed. So you don't need to run skills, you don't need to run anything. And in phase 2, Kingbreaker had an RPM of 500. I didn't even try it because I didn't want to see how slow that would be, and pretty much everybody complained that, you know what, the RPM is very low, we cannot effectively use this weapon, it's just way too low. So what the developers did for phase 3 is they increased the RPM from 500 to 650, and I was expecting when I read that in the patch notes that they would have reduced the damage from what it used to be back when the RPM was 500, because if you want to maintain the balance, pretty much every assault rifle in the game in Division 2, the higher the RPM it has, the lower the base damage, and the higher the base damage, the lower the RPM. For example, FAMAS has, I think, one of the highest, if not the highest RPM, but it has a lower base damage compared to, let's say, an AK, for example, right? However, the developers answered a Twitter. I will try to find out, maybe, most likely I won't, but pretty much they said that the base damage has stayed the same. They didn't reduce the base damage, they simply just increased the RPM, which means that pretty much right now you have a weapon with a 650 RPM and with the damage that a 500 RPM weapon would have, and it's an absolute beast. As you can see the gameplay in the background, I will have some screenshots right now on your screens to see the build that I was using. Nothing crazy about it, a full red build, glass cannon, vigilance, 55% critical hit chance, and 140 something percent critical hit damage with full out weapon damage to targets out of cover, 10 on my weapon, 8 on my knee pads, and I also have damage to armor, 8 from the contractor's gloves and 5 from the Walker Harris piece. So pretty much I'm going full multiplicative, full critical hit chance, and as much critical hit damage as I could put in there. And as you can see, this weapon is capable of hitting 1.1, 1.2 million headshots with this build in the background. The build is nothing special, as I told you. Of course, it's a maxed out build pretty much, but it's a common red build. So this weapon, what's so great about it is because of the talent, we can actually use it with other builds as well. I want to try it out a pulse build, you know, with perfect spotter maybe, or just normal spotter on the chest piece, or with the new gear set, the Heartbreaker. Pretty much I can see this weapon being in the top 3 weapons, because right now we have, as the top assault rifles, we have the Police M4, we have the Carbine 7, we have the FAL, we have the FAMAS, things like that, right? People will disagree about which one is the best. I don't really care because all 4 of them are pretty decent. I prefer the FAMAS and the Police M4, but that's just personal preference. I think all of them are pretty much on the same level. And now you have a new AR coming in the club, and that's the Kingbreaker. It's just insane. The only downside of it, which is not really a downside, but it's more like a balancing thing, is the accuracy and the stability. Of course, it is like an AK. It has medium average at medium and long ranges, and the stability, the recoil control is kind of hard to control. However, it is expected because you have very high damage, pretty decent RPM for the damage that you get, so they must somehow make this weapon have a downside. So yeah, pretty much a short video lets you guys know that I finally tried out the Kingbreaker, and oh my god, it fucking hits like a truck. It's brilliant. I can't wait for it to come out on the normal game and try out so many builds that I have already think about. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know down below in the comments if you have tried out the Kingbreaker, or if you haven't, your thoughts about it, and if you're excited to use it when it comes to the full game. If you want to support the channel, please make sure to click the like button and the subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me a lot. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye bye.